Hello, this is Christina and today I'm going to talk about a very popular question that I get asked on my social media all over the shop, Facebook, Instagram, even here on YouTube. And that question is, of course, can I put my cold porcelain flower on a cake? Can I just plonk it on a cake? It's beautiful, it's everlasting, it's made out of this clay that is non-toxic, so can I just decorate my cake with it and be done with it? Will everyone be happy and live happily ever after? Well, this is $1 million question. The first argument that gets brought up against doing so is that with cold porcelain you use glue and you use Nivea clay. Now, it's true, you use a lot of glue and you use a lot of Nivea clay with DIY cold porcelain. Now, if you've been watching my YouTube channel for a while, you will probably find that with my DIY cold porcelain, the self-made cold porcelain, when I was first starting out, I was putting loads of this Nivea cream on the cold porcelain so it doesn't stick when I roll it out, and I was going through tons of it. Now, here's the good news. As soon as I switched to branded cold porcelain, the need to use this Nivea cream is just disappeared overnight, just like that. And so as I teach my students, I find on regular basis the same thing. They use cold porcelain, they love it, they spread it, they make shapes out of it, they finish their flower, they go home happily, they hardly touch Nivea. And on occasions when there is no Nivea available, they do not even mention it. So Nivea can go without. Some people would find it tricky to get used to it if they're used to Nivea already, like this old comfort blanket. But no, you can easily do without Nivea. So that's the first problem addressed. Now, second problem is, of course, the glue. Now, glue is a little bit tricky because there seems to be nothing more natural than using this white nice glue. So can you avoid using tacky glue if this is what you want to do for the cake purpose? And the answer to that is yes, you actually can. All you do is take a little bit of your clay and you just dilute it with water to kind of a goopy glue consistency, basically to a glue consistency. And then you use that mix to glue your parts together. They may not glue as well immediately. There would be certainly a period when you're getting used to it. You would be out of your comfort zone and probably going to moan to yourself a lot. But once you got used to it, it will become a second nature, not using glue with your cold porcelain. So that's a second problem out of the equation. So, what do? Do we just take our lovely non-toxic cold porcelain clay, create loads of lovely things with it, and put them in a cake, give the cake to the client, well, sell the cake to the client, and live happily ever after? No, I would not recommend you did that. And that is not because I myself wouldn't put cold porcelain flowers on a cake for myself and my family, because that I would and that I did. But that's not to say that you should listen to me evangelizing on the subject of cold porcelain and just take my word as a gospel, because you really shouldn't. Not for yourself and your family. You need to read the labels and come to your own conclusion as to how that works, and perhaps do further research if you want to. But if you make your cakes commercially and it's your livelihood, this is the point at which you have to stop and think very carefully. You need to think very carefully what makes the material you work with safe and how you can prove it to everybody else, including people who might not want your business to prosper. I'm sorry to be negative. And people who appear to hate cold porcelain for no particular reason except for perhaps its newness on the scene. Does that make sense? Newness in the scene? Basically, except for the fact that it's a new thing to come in, except for the fact that it's a new thing to come in and new thing to hit UK market, or not new, but kind of new again. Does that make sense? And there would be people who would go, ooh, we don't like it. There's no need for that. It's ugly. It's unhealthy. It's this, it's that. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, you need to protect your business. you need to look into it. So guess what? The first port of call would be, of course, the people who gave you your hygiene certificate. Go to them, knock on their door twice, 3, 4 times if necessary, and find out what rights do you have to use cold porcelain and what rights do other people have to tell you not to use it. The case may be that you're perfectly fine using it on your cakes with a barrier. The case might be according to the chemicals that are in that cold porcelain, branded cold porcelain, reputable cold porcelain. It could be that those chemicals are far lower than the cut-off threshold for chemicals around us in every way, shape or form, and so you're absolutely on safe ground. In which case you'd be good to go and you would know that your business is protected, you're in a good place and all the rest of it. So don't take anyone's word for it. Don't take a good word for it, don't take a bad word for it. Find out for yourself. And should you have a go-ahead to use cold porcelain, make sure that when you talk to your client, get them to read the information, pros and cons of cold porcelain as compared to sugar paste and the other way around. Get them, introduce cold porcelain to them, introduce the pros and cons, and then talk to them about it and get them to decide what they want to choose and with what option they want to go. And if they want to go with cold porcelain option, make sure you put it all in writing and get them to okay it by email. This is what I would do to protect my own sanity and my own business, and that would be my recommendation. Obviously, a disclosure here, I am not a chemist, I am not a health and safety person, and I am not the trading standards officer. So I am just here to give you a bit of advice, my own opinion on this. And as you know, I love cold porcelain and I am very biased. So people like me may lead you to believe that using cold porcelain on cakes is brilliant, go for it. But no, whatever it is, you always have to make sure that the requirement and the proof and all of those things is something tangible, is not just words. And so of course, I can imagine some of you would be thinking at this point, well, are you going to go to your own hygiene people, to your own council, and ask them whether you can use your lovely beloved cold porcelain flowers on your cakes? The answer to that is, I am actually not in a hurry to do that. I think cold porcelain have a space to be loved, appreciated and respected for what they are without their connection to cakes, and they have a right to exist as an art form without having a permission to necessarily go on top of a cake, or else it's a no-go. I believe that people who like making flowers would probably benefit in creating something that is everlasting and that has artistic advantages over sugar, and quite a few of those as well, but that's for another video. So yeah, I am not in a rush to go and ask Sugar's permission for cold porcelain flowers to exist. I'm just going to let it be, and when I'm ready to create another video on this subject, more to the point, more with numbers of certificates you might need to have, if any, and so on and so forth, then I would probably make another video and I make a little bit of a project out of that. But as it stands, no, I don't make cakes commercially anyway, but if I did, I probably, in fact, I definitely would have found out. But if I did and I couldn't use cold porcelain flowers to decorate them, I would still make cold porcelain flowers with as much of a joy and delight as I do now.